So apparently, the Batman 2, Matt Reeves is the Batman 2. Mind you, don't want to get anything confused with the DC universe, but Matt Reeves is the Batman 2, has a working title. Writer Mattson Tomlin says sequel feels very dangerous and new. So let's dive into it. All right, so it looks like we're getting a Batman 2 before we are going to be getting our DCU's Batman. Now, some people might even say, I've even talked to a couple buddies of mine, they're just like, you know what? We already got Batman. There's Batman, 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 Batman. Let's take a break for a second. Which, you know what? Makes a lot of sense. You know, you don't want to get too fatigued. And especially the Batman with Robert Pattinson was very well crafted Batman detective story. And it was much more of a detective story than, let's say, your typical Batman movies that we've gotten in the past. And I liked it. I thought it was something fresh. It was something new. And I did like that noir detective style film. You know, really cool the way they did it. Now, look, it's been 4 years since the Batman was out. Well, the Batman 2 is reportedly scheduled to hit theaters in 2027. That would make it 5 years for a sequel, pretty much, to the first movie. Well, according to what's being told here on this article, the Batman 2 has a working title, and that, of course, I'm going to pop it up on the screen here, and the working title is Vengeance 2. Interesting, you know? Especially because it was Batman Part 1. I don't know why you just don't go with the Batman Part 2. I'll be honest with you, I didn't really like the way that they implemented the vengeance aspect to it, right? After he like whooped those guys' ass, he's just like, "Who are you?" He's like, "I'm vengeance." I thought that was kind of corny. I mean, to be honest with you, I'm fucking Batman. You know how that shit proud, homie. But so, A Vengeance 2, the Batman's working title, interesting. I'm not liking it. Not liking it at all. So apparently, coincidentally, around the time that this news came out, the Batman 2 writer Mattson Tomlin responded to a fan by writing, "We work exceptionally hard to tell a story worthy of the character. Something that feels new and dangerous. The bars couldn't be higher. Looking forward to the people seeing it and be able to talk about it at length." Now, Tomlin, who worked on the first movie but didn't receive an official credit, added, "Can't begin to describe what this film means to me." Later, he revealed that we did our absolute literal push beyond the limits best. I believe that. I believe that. Batman, when you do a Batman movie, there's always high stakes when it comes to a Batman movie. Batman is just one of the most beloved characters across all of cinema, across all books. I mean, Batman is Batman. He's freaking man. And so there's always a high expectation when it comes to making the Batman and doing it justice, right? So Mattson Tomlin is coming along. I believe he worked on The Penguin recently. Matt Reeves is, of course, not directing this current film, but he was the writer. Him and Mattson wrote this film together. I believe Mattson is coming on to direct, if I'm not mistaken, but I could be wrong. But we're scheduled to get a Batman 2, October 1st, 2027, 5 years after a sequel. Now, I'm going to go ahead and just kind of just brush up and just give my take on, these comments here. Something new, something dangerous. We've already gotten rumors that we're going to get a villain that hasn't been done before. Pretty cool. We're also getting some rumors, in regards to, multiple villains, right? So it's really interesting to see. We're apparently getting a Two-Face. There's going to be a woman villain mixed in here. The Harvey Dent's father is going to be playing a role. Will the Court of Owls play a role? I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff going on here, man, and I'm excited for it. I think Matt Reeves did a phenomenal job with the Batman Part 1. I think it's a very, very good Batman story. I don't think it's as good as The Dark Knight, my opinion. I think The Dark Knight there's not going to be many people who's going to be able to top The Dark Knight and that trilogy and what Christopher Nolan did. However, Matt Reeves did a really good job with the world building. I thought that Robert Pattinson was a good Batman. interesting choice, but he was a good Batman. I did like Andy Serkis as. I was a fan of Andy Serkis as Alfred. And I'll be honest, I know this is a little controversial and it was talked about for a while, but Quentin Tarantino made some comments about Paul Dano where he was kind of like crapping on his acting ability, but I am going to give my honest opinion. I don't think Paul Dano's a bad actor. But I will say I did think some of his moments in this film were the weakest of the film. That makes sense. I and that could be Matt Reeves' doing too. I personally didn't like the way they did the Riddler. They made him more like psychotic and a serial killer, brutal, but that's not the Riddler's game, man. Yeah, he plays games. That's his game. He plays games. And they tried to implement that and I thought there were some cool parts to that, with the riddles and stuff, but I thought that they did fumble the bag when it comes to the Riddler. Now, this is also the beginning or early years of Batman. Paul Dano's character did not pass, so maybe we get a better version of the Riddler. This was like his origin story. Who knows, man? I'm really curious to see. The Batman was 3 hours long. I'm expecting this one to be the same. But let me know what you guys think down below. Do you like this working title of Vengeance 2? I think it's shit. And are you excited for the Batman 2? I know it's been 5 years, but I'm pretty pumped up for it. I think it's going to be a really good movie. Hell, it better be after 5 years, right? But let me know what you guys think down below. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for the Real G. And if you want to be a real G like me, of course, you already know what to do. Go ahead and like the video and subscribe to the channel for more content.